At Charlotte Motor Speedway, Tony Stewart, the runaway leader, but Buddy Lazier has cleared himself of traffic and is closing in. Davey Hamilton in third, Billy Boat, and Mark Dismore, rather. Let's go to Mike King.
Larry Curry is the team manager for Team Menard. Tony's complained a little bit of picking up a push. How's the car?
No, he says now that the fuel, we're down to half tanks, it's starting to come more to a balance. We're in the cruise gear right now, and long way to go in this race.
Tony Stewart complained a little bit earlier, just a few laps ago, about a push, but with the half-tank situation now in effect, he seems to be able to find the car equalized in a bit. He now has a better condition.
Scott, these cars carry 35 gallons of methanol, and in a car that only weighs 1,600 pounds, the fuel load seems like it can really have a drastic effect on how the car handles.
It really does. It can really slow you down when you're carrying a full load. You really feel like you almost are dragging a trailer behind you. But when you burn the fuel off, you just feel so much freer. The car feels so much faster. Generally, it gets a little more neutral, less of a what we call push, where the front wants to wash out.
For 8th place, a little deeper in the field.
Well, you can sort of see exactly what Arie Luyendyk's team manager was worried about. Arie's fading. These guys have really caught him up one after the other.
He rode with Scott Goodyear as he closed up on that pack. Goodyear behind Afonso Giafoni, and just ahead, Goodyear's teammate Arie Luyendyk. Rush hour traffic.
Boy, big time. Scott's right now trying to just use traffic to his advantage, hopefully get around the outside here and keep moving. Wow, close call.
That is a very tight 5-car pack as they go back to turn 1. Patience appears to be a virtue here.
Boy, it's important. You really, you got to take advantage of traffic. At the same time, you don't want to risk yourself and put yourself in a vulnerable position.
Giafoni in 10th place, looking to the inside. May have the move on Scott Goodyear here. Nope. Greg Ray up to 7th place. He is passed by this group of cars.
Giafoni with a good draft, tried to get on. Oh boy, they got close. Scott Goodyear, I don't think he saw him till the last minute. Whew.
Goodyear entered the corner high, tried to come down to run the line that's used by these Indy cars here. Couldn't get there. Here's Giafoni, still on the bottom, still trying to move on up.
Underneath Arie Luyendyk. Boy, Arie's really fading back now. I think here goes Scott Goodyear, try to draft to go on the inside of him. And he gets him. Wow. Wonder what kind of problems Arie's having. Look, you can just see there, that was the trouble area everybody talks about, over the bumps. You could really hear the engine lift from Scott Goodyear. Just at this point in time, still taking it a little easy through there. Whereas here, you can hear the noise almost flat out.
All right, let's listen as we get to turn 3. Sounds like he's really feathering that throttle.
I think he had to. Also, the traffic was holding him up a little bit. But yeah, turn 3 and 4 definitely much rougher than 1 and 2.
Lapping past Stefan Gregoire. As you ride with Scott Goodyear around Charlotte Motor Speedway at well over 200 miles per hour. Last lap for Goodyear, just a shade past 200. And trouble for Greg Ray.
Oh, geez, a great start. He had a great start, battling up through the field. It's a shame.
Ray was up to 7th place.
That might just bring out our first caution here. I think it will.
Ray started back in the 8th row, trying to coast it around to pit road in the Richard Childress Racing number 31. For 8th place, Scott Goodyear trying to hold off Jimmy Kite.
Jimmy Kite was second fast in yesterday's practice. We knew he'd be strong. He's been very patient, he said. He was really worried. I talked to him right before the race, really worried about coming up through this field. Didn't want to get in someone else's wreck, didn't want to get taken out by anybody, and he's starting to lay it on them.
Mike Groff looking ahead at Jimmy Kite. First time Jimmy Kite was here was October 1994 for the NASCAR race as a spectator. He won a 50-lap midget race at Salem, Indiana last Saturday night. Quite a contrast.
That sure is. He's been doing a great job at his first race in Colorado, and to be coming here, never run 200 miles an hour before. He's doing a great job.
We should be looking for pit stops in, what, about 10 laps?
Yeah, close to about 10 laps. Maybe the early cars coming in a little sooner than that.
Brian Hammonds, what's the story with Greg Ray?
It's an electrical problem for Greg Ray. The crew already has the black box in their hand. When they finally get him pushed to his pits, they'll replace it, hopefully get him back out, but he's certainly out of contention after a great run to the front.
Greg Ray started 17th and came to 7th. And up front, Tony Stewart has had things all his own way.
Well, it looked as Buddy was really starting to catch him, starting to pull up on him. Then, unfortunately, Tony cleared the traffic, and Buddy has now caught the traffic, about 5 cars. So, Tony's pulled it back out again.
Tony Stewart with a 5-second lead over Buddy Lazier, Billy Boat, Davey Hamilton, and Mark Dismore. Coming up next, the CBS Sports Show rolls on with the Bud Light Pro Beach Volleyball Tour from St. Louis. That's next on CBS Sports. At Charlotte, Tony Stewart continues to lead Buddy Lazier and Billy Boat, but pit stops have begun. Mark Dismore, 5th place car, in 1 lap ago. Giaffoni is in. Kite is in. Sam Schmidt making his stop. All of these green flag stops, and about as we expected, in the 40 to 45 lap range.
Right, you see a few guys drag it out a little farther than that. I know Davey Hamilton was hoping to try to make it to lap 45. As quick as Buddy is, I'll be surprised if he can go, Buddy and Tony, for that matter, can go farther than anybody else.
Stewart rolls on. He leads by nearly 8 seconds.
Buddy Lazier's in the pits. This should be interesting to see how much time he loses. Tony Stewart.
There's Stewart, your leader. Continues to stay on the racetrack. Here's your 2nd place car on pit road. Brian Hammonds is there.
Buddy Lazier hits his mark. The crew goes to work. Crew chief Dennis LaCava. Right rear, Jerry Miller. On the left rear, Mike Culliver. On the left front, Don Butler, the fueler, Dave Morgan, the Vincent, Greg Garrett. They say they're not going to make any changes to this car. Fuel and tires only. Buddy Lazier very happy with the way the car is handling. And away he goes. Good stop for Buddy Lazier.
That was a good stop. Looked like maybe they put a little front wing in that. Must have decided last minute to try to do that.
You're riding with Kenny Breck onto pit road.
Billy Boat is also in the pits. Busy time right now.
That reset fuel sign on the signboard for Kenny Breck.
It's a digital counter, basically. You can see the 33 on his steering wheel means when he gets to that point, in case he lost his computer telemetry, he would have to pit. It's a precautionary note.
Also, we saw them put front wing in on Kenny Breck's car.
Right.
And here's your leader, Tony Stewart. At lap 46, the leader is on pit road. Davey Hamilton also making his stop.
The 80-mile-an-hour pit speed limit. Most of these cars have a controller that won't let you go over that as long as you press the button. Keep you under the speed limit.
Cruise control?
Just about.
Fuel and 4 tires for leader Tony Stewart. Some teams will make 5 pit stops, others only 4. And they added about a turn of front wing on both sides on Stewart.
Interesting. Everyone must be dealing with a little bit of a push situation right now. They're trying to add a little bit of front wing, correct that, hopefully not upset the balance of the car too much.
Here's Davey Hamilton coming off pit road after his stop at lap 46. They have to go all the way around the apron of turns 1 and 2 and then blend into traffic on the backstretch. Scott Goodyear in the pit lane. Cold drink for Scott. 4 tires going on. In Scott Goodyear's case, Firestone tires, and a little wing out of the left front.
Yeah, it looks like they took a little out. Maybe it was just a little too positive for Scott in the car right now. Want to make sure that rear of the car is a little bit more underneath him. Running well, though. Scott's come a long way from the back toward the middle to back of this field.
Salazar completing his stop. And here you see Goodyear coming around the warm-up lane, and he'll blend in with traffic down the back straightaway after the exit of turn 2. Eddie Cheever completes his stop. Cheever at lap 48. Stefan Gregoire finishing his pit work.
Boy, it looks like Tony really had a good pit stop. He's able to have about a half a lap lead right now on Buddy Lazier.
Looking back from Tony Stewart. Stewart in a good bit of traffic. There was Salazar and Gregoire.
Tony's car really seems to be working well. You don't hear much of a pitch in the motor change. You don't see much. He's able to put the car almost wherever he wants, go right around the outside of traffic. No wonder he's leading this race.
Laps caution-free here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tony Stewart surrendered the lead only during the pit stop sequence.
He's trying to put a lap right now on Jim Guthrie. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for Tony to go around the outside here. His car seems to really like the outside. He can really work that groove, and that helps him just get through traffic so much easier than some of the other guys.
You know who he is not running away from, though, is Giafone. Giafone is one lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap, and the gap between those two cars has been very constant. Now, on the pit stop sequence, Mark Dismore has moved up to second place, and there, that second yellow car is Giafone, and Stewart is not running off and leaving him.
That's interesting. Alfonso's had some great races here. They must have made a few changes in his car, and he's really running quite well. He needs to try to get that lap back from Tony. Be interesting to see if he can do that.
Last lap for Stewart, 205 miles per hour, 204.6 was Giafone. Here's their second place battle. Mark Dismore, the first of the leaders to pit, and Buddy Lazier, that purple and yellow car, chasing Dismore. Let's see if traffic tells this story. Yes. Mike Groff. And there goes Lazier.
Boy, 3 wide.
Oh.
Buddy's aggressive. He certainly isn't afraid to keep the foot down and go to the outside if he needs to. Looks like Ari Leyendijk's in pit lane with a problem. He seemed like he slowed down a little bit. Maybe it's just one of the latest pit stops.
The Leyendijk on pit road as Dismore and Lazier battle for second place. CBS Sports coverage of the VisionAire 500 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.